Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Saturn Slam Review Double Shot Edition. Missed it last week because of conflicting travels. Peter was away on our normal recording day, so for once, it's not my fault that we missed the show.
I
And
stopped at a pit stop and saw a beaver sign with 3D tits. I actually have to show you that picture, Kurt.
yes, you do. I need to see this.
It's outstanding.
My life
It's like
will
Betty
not be
Beaver's truck stop. It's fucking ridiculous.
Like, was it a real truck stop with like a laundromat and showers and everything?
No, it was a
Okay.
gas station, some Sunoco things, a dumpster, and air tanks on the side of the interstate. Which I think the last person to visit it that wasn't the store clerk, 1978. Like I felt like I was gonna walk out and I was just gonna be in silent.
You're gonna be cursed.
I got Muddy Buddies though.
Cool. What the fuck was I gonna say? I completely lost my train of thought. But we are
I was out last week, so we have to
right. Yes,
double it up.
and I was out on the weekend, so we couldn't make it up. And we were like, "Do you want to do Tuesday?" Or since it was a one-match show, just do the double shot. And we decided to do the double shot, and here we are. But first, we have some news and notes from the rest of the wrestling world to address. The big story this week is that it's official. The women's title match will go on last and will now feature both women's championships, as
Sure.
Charlotte defeated Asuka on a random throwaway SmackDown with no build.
That part sucks. Anal beat out of a fucking garboder.
And if
Gen 5.
if the facts are correct, and Charlotte is 0-33 this year, having her one win come over Asuka, who tapped Becky Lynch out clean in the middle of the ring, the Royal Rumble, is puzzling to say the least.
Yeah, that was as I said to you earlier. This was a fast lane move. They thought they couldn't do it. They thought that we'll sneak it by them if we don't put it on the actual Fastlane pay-per-view and fuck everything up before WrestleMania. But they couldn't.
They couldn't help themselves. It's a compulsion. Yeah, so that's both titles I'm hearing now are going to be on the line, but it will not be winner take all. So they will, as of right now, and this could change 47 times between now and Mania, they are not planning to unify the titles. I really think they should. At least for the women, I don't think the roster is deep enough to really support two women's champions. Because you look at the SmackDown women's roster minus Charlotte and Becky, which they've been fielding the past few months here, and it's pretty bleak. You got Naomi, you got Mandy Rose, you got Sonya Deville, you have the Iconics, and you have Asuka. That's not...
Right.
Oh, Carmella, I guess, too, technically. But that just further illustrates my point of the depth not really being there.
Yeah.
And it's not like Raw is much better, either.
No. And I was thinking about this. I've seen this. It's weird that this roster seems to have gotten. It seems to feel smaller now than it has before, or at least at some points. Especially around when they were doing all the women-centric shows or the women-centric main events earlier, where they really wanted to flex. Look at how deep our roster is, and it all sort of dried up. NXT was having. I think NXT had this problem a little bit also. When like lately it feels like, oh, it's just Shayna and the squad versus Bianca and Io and Kyrie, and then so that's I literally can't come up with more.
In fairness to them, though, they did elevate Bianca Belair to a main event level. She was not
Yes.
there a year ago. So
Hmm.
she's the one they picked to push up to that spot. They lost a few. They lost Nikki Cross. They lost Ember Moon. They lost Asuka. Um, well,
Right.
Asuka's been off for a while, but just generally.
And I'm
And if
also
they lose Shayna Baszler, then I'm not sure who really steps into that role necessarily. I guess it'll be heel Bianca Belair versus babyface Io Shirai for the next couple takeovers, or maybe Kairi Sane or Io turned heel.
and they are making that's I wanted to differentiate NXT from the others. Uh, in that they're more to in the 20 March they did bring in like this Aaliyah and Vanessa Bourne thing turn out, but they're also bringing in some of their young classic talent. They're
Yeah, well they've put these women under contract, so I'd hope to see them eventually. Um, Peter has paused. We're gonna see if we can get him back. Stand by. Oh, we got him back.
we're back. uh, I don't know where I cut off. I was just trying to illustrate the difference between the main rosters and the NXT roster, and that the NXT roster is bringing in some of their Mae Young Classic talent to bolster their numbers and to give some variety to what might be threatening to become a stale set of matches
Yeah.
and some feuds.
Well, thank God we were all spared the eventual Lacey Evans main event run in NXT. But yeah,
They know what I mean.
sure, Vince, you can have her. All right. So let's talk about these shows. Specifically this one match spectacle that was the March 20th edition or 19th, whichever 20th.
Yeah.
So as we had the unfortunate duty to report last week, Tommaso Ciampa has had spinal fusion surgery and will be out for, judging from what they showed in this vignette here, probably a year, 9 months
Yeah.
optimistically.
It's interesting. The change that they had. So they're putting the inspiring recovery from injury angle on, which is a little strange thinking about where Ciampa was before the injury. I get what they're doing.
Everyone's a baby
I
face
understand, of course.
when they come back from injury, though. Like, no one's going to get booed when they come back from neck surgery. Triple H was the biggest heel, the number 2 heel behind Steve Austin in 2001 when he blew out his quad. And when he came back in 2002, he got a hero's ovation. So, everyone is a babyface when they come back from injury, at least for
Time honored tradition.
Yeah. But it's kind of hard to hate the guy. I think he was starting to turn. I don't know if they were going to officially do a babyface turn or not, but you could feel the kind of the narrative or the feeling of the crowd kind of start to turn on him. He was getting a little more cheers. That's why they had to bring out the music, because he was being booed less.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of felt like people were warming to him anyway. They were getting ready to cheer him, and it was probably going to be time to turn him babyface soon. Especially if you wanted to do like a DIY on the main roster and have it make more sense.
But such is fate. And in the meantime,
yeah.
Triple H came out himself, gave a lovely speech, and put out a fatal 5-way challenge for a titleship chance.
Yeah, so this was their answer to what they were going to do. Johnny Gargano was in the match still for reasons, I guess. What he did to really earn his place in the match, I'm not entirely sure. And Adam Cole was sure to bring that up on this week's show.
What if he just won? He's just like, okay, I get the title then.
Yeah, so he announced the Fatal 5-Way featuring Ricochet, Aleister Black, Matt Riddle, Velveteen Dream, and Adam Cole, baby. And there was some other bullshit on the show. Kona Reeves was asked his thoughts on the match, because I know everyone was dying to hear what Kona Reeves had to say on the matter. I forgot Kona Reeves was employed until he showed up in this segment.
That's why they had it, because he had to do a match next week.
They talked to the Forgotten Sons. I forgot what they said. And
Yep.
then it was
They just did it.
yeah, well, they had there was one more vignette.
Io and
Io
Kyrie,
and
right?
Kyrie doing their damnedest to give an interview in English, and it was not terrible. They're getting better. Kyrie is clearly much further along with her English than Io is at this time. But that makes sense because she's been in the U.S. for like a whole year longer than Io. And then Bianca Belair came in and cut a promo on the two of them. And that was that she said she was undefeated, even though she's not. And then we did the match, which was a PWG match if I ever saw one.
Yeah.
It was moves from the opening bell to the closing bell. A lot of it was two people pairing off in the center of the ring, going through the spots they had worked out, and then swapping out with the next dance partner for about 20 glorious minutes. I thought this match was good. I did not think it was great. I expected a little bit more given the talent in the ring. But I wasn't disappointed by it.
Yeah, I will accept it for what it is, considering the I'll give them points for the time constraints which they had to get
My
this match
thing about
booked.
it, though, is that if it was going to be a one-match show, why not just give them the whole fucking hour? Like, this episode of NXT was only 49 minutes.
That's true. They could have made this thing like a real slobber knocker.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
we've seen it before. The one-match show on NXT. I don't remember if you remember this, but a couple years ago, maybe 3 at this point, Samoa Joe and Sami Zayn 2 out of 3 falls win the entire show. There were other advertised matches, but it went the whole hour. So they could have done something like that with this. You got 5 guys in there. It's not like you're asking them 2 guys to go out and do an hour.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There's a lot of flexibility. I don't know. I don't know what the decision was. Where they were, who was thinking about that.
Yeah, I don't know what this. I mean, this whole thing had to be thrown together pretty quickly, I would imagine, with the injury. So, and they tape a lot of this in advance. I don't know how much television they had taped. If this was, something they had to tack on at the end of another set of tapings, or when this match had originally took place. I think it was like 2 weeks ago at this point that this match was taped. I don't know if it was like part of regular tapings, because I don't think it would have been because of the proximity to WrestleMania. I don't think they'd just tape 2 weeks of television.
Yeah.
And then be like, oh, we're off to New York now.
Sorry, guys, you're getting a short show tonight.
But yeah, this match was fine. Adam Cole hit the last shot following a Ricochet shooting star press. He hit it. Cole hit the last
Mhm.
shot, rolled him up, and got the pin and the win. He is going to face Johnny Gargano in a 2 out of 3 falls match in the main event of NXT TakeOver New York. I'm not gonna say this match now is better than what Gargano and Ciampa would have been, but is certainly fresher. This is the first meeting between these two in NXT versus what
Is
would
it?
have been the fourth, one-on-one at
Yeah.
least.
Okay, because I feel like Johnny's taken on Adam at some point before, but it's not often. I
They
hadn't I
were
didn't realize it was just that rare.
no, I think this is the first. I was gonna say they were in the ladder match, but no, Johnny wasn't in the ladder match at last year's
Yeah.
Takeover.
I guess I felt that it was during the Johnny failure part of the feud, but I think that was Velveteen Dream versus Johnny.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I'll I'll make a quick prediction here. As we anything else do you want to say anything else this match this night?
Um, no, other than I kind of expected a little more from this match.
Yeah, considering the potential that was there, and
And
you know
it
they
being the
love
only
their
match on the
NXT
show.
loves their big old multi-man matches.
Everyone loves their big old multi-man matches.
But I'll segue quickly here into the next week, in which it starts off with Adam uh, facing down, looking at old Goldie. I'll make a quick prediction that I think that Adam will win the belt here, and it will begin the sort of turnaround for the Undisputed Era as they make their way back to reclaim all the gold they lost
I
over the
think
year.
I agree with that. I think that's the best way to play it. I gotta think Johnny Gargano is staying on the main roster after Takeover. It would be a good story for Johnny to finally win the big one, but it just wouldn't have the same emotional impact as if he had beaten Ciampa for it. And I think Adam Cole has really kind of been, I don't want to say directionless. I think that's a little harsh, but he's definitely felt, him in the Undisputed Era have definitely felt kind of pushed aside ever since they lost their titles. Um, and I think of the people in the main event scene in NXT right now, because Ricochet and Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano are probably all gone after WrestleMania.
Right.
So of what's left, if I had to pick a guy to put the title on for, 6 to 9 months, I think Adam Cole's my number one choice. And when Ciampa went down, we suggested Adam Cole. And I think that's a good move right now. I don't want them to go up to the main roster anytime soon because I don't think there's a great role for them. Well, there's one. There's one great role, but I don't think Vince McMahon sees them at the level of that. So you shouldn't break them up, number one. And number two, the only thing I could see that would be worth bringing them up to the main roster would be if Adam Cole is Kofi Kingston's first challenger outside of Daniel Bryan if he wins the title at WrestleMania. Because you could bring the Undisputed Era up, the feud with the New Day, and Adam Cole could feud with Kofi Kingston and win, presumably, because I don't think Kofi's holding that belt for more than 3 months at best if he
Mm-hmm.
wins. But I don't think they're viewed at that level by Vince McMahon. Definitely, if Triple H were running things, I could see that happening. But unfortunately, he is not. So Vince will take one look at Adam Cole, be like, he's too small and too skinny, and
No, he's too fat.
and he'll be him and the rest of the Undisputed Era will be wrestling Sanity on main event, and I don't want that.
So sad. Uh, um, side note. Uh, Adam Cole apparently has the ass of a college sorority freshman. My God. But they're out here doing their promos, and the crowd was marking out for both of them. So
To an
Adam,
annoying degree.
he had to really like, excuse me, shut up.
Shut
He
the
had to like
fuck
fucking
up.
guys, I'm the heel here.
Well, it's not even. I've long had a love-hate relationship with the Full Sail crowd. Sometimes they're great, other times they're not. But one consistent issue I've always had with them is that they try to get themselves over, and I hate that. I hate when crowds try to get themselves over. I've been in some crowds that have tried to get themselves over, and I've hated every minute of it. You're part of the show. Your job is to cheer the people you like, boo the people you dislike, and react to the matches, not disrupt or hijack the show with your chants. Unless it's like Fastlane, then go ahead. If you have to sit for the bullshit of Fastlane, hijack that show. You have my permission.
Break out the beach balls for Fastlane.
Fastlane only. Beach balls only acceptable at WWE Fastlane. But yeah, they cut a promo. Adam Cole said, what did you do to earn this? And that was pretty much all he said. And then, he also bragged about his win last week. And then Johnny Gargano launched into this 10-minute tirade about his history in NXT, which was a cool thing. I don't know if it exactly was the promo he should have cut in this situation. It didn't really feel right. And
it felt kind of default, like this was the generic promo that Johnny can cut.
Yeah, it was a fiery babyface promo. It wasn't exactly the Hard Times promo. It wasn't a Dusty Rhodes special. But he had good fire, he had good passion, and you felt what he was saying, but what he was saying didn't really, rebut anything Adam Cole had said. And Adam Cole just kind of left, and I was worried that was just going to be it. He was just going to take that tirade lying down, and I was like, that doesn't look good. But then he stopped. He said that he was going to win the match, and he knew why. And then the rest of the Undisputed Era came out, and he said it won't be decisive, it'll be undisputed. And away we go. I hope they do another face-off between the two of them next week before Mania, because I'm excited for this match as a wrestling match, but as a story, and I know this is not their fault. I'm not blaming anyone for this, but I'm not really feeling the build. I think this segment could have done a lot more to make me excited for this match. From a storyline perspective, again, I'm very much looking forward to this match as a wrestling match. It should be a barn burner for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's very much right now. It's very much in the vein. Hey, look, I've never seen Johnny and Adam wrestle before, and not, oh man, Johnny's gonna get Adam.
Yeah. Geeks came out to wrestle a women's tag team match. The Geeks in question were Vanessa Bourne, Aaliyah, Lacey Lane, and Casey Catanzaro. Tiny Athletic Girls versus Dominatrixes. I'm not sure what their gimmick is.
They're really hot. They're just really hot.
Sure.
That's what they say. They're going to join up with Mandy Rose when they go on the main roster so that the announcers can make just the most fucking ludicrous comments about them as they walk down the ramp.
The beautiful people.
I'm just so annoyed whenever Mandy Rose comes out during Royal Rumble or whatever, and the announcers just gotta lay it on thicker than asphalt. Okay.
Yes, I can see her. She is pretty. I get it. But anyway, the reason I call them geeks is because Shayna Baszler and her cronies came out, and the heels bailed. and the baby faces got beaten down and humiliated. And then she went up to commentary as like, this is going to continue to happen until I get if I keep being disrespected. How she's being disrespected, I'm not sure. This has not been made clear to me at this point in time.
It should. I do like. There was one spot during this whole segment that I liked, and that was where Casey Canzaro did a counter to Shayna's submission holds. I was like, that's cool.
She is
How about they do a match? Because she's got like, she's a submission person too.
No, she's the Ninja Warrior lady.
Oh.
She's a hell of an
Okay.
athlete. I think with time she could become like the female Rey Mysterio. But she's pretty green. So that's going to be I wouldn't thrust her into a championship match quite yet. Maybe on TV. You could give her like 10 minutes on TV in a match against Baszler, preferably non-title. But that depends on what their plan with Shayna Baszler is, and I'm not sure what that plan is. She's ready to be called up, I think. Her friends are not even close, particularly Jessamine Duke. Deer in headlights all the time. But I don't know what else you do with Shayna. Like, you can keep the title on her, I guess, but I'm kind of getting bored with these, she comes down, she beats on the girls,
right,
and she puts them in the choke. Repeat weekly.
Yeah. It would almost benefit if she just doesn't come out for not all the time. Pull it back just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like it's a well established thing. We got a well established theme running here. You've established it. You don't need to keep, bringing it home.
Beating us on the head with
Get it? She can do other things. Give her other different promos.
She can do other things, like not be on television every week. Because if she's on television less, it'll feel more special when she's on television. This is a mind-blowing concept that WWE has yet to figure out.
Brock Lesnar's figured it out, though.
Well, that's a different situation. Brock Lesnar isn't on television because Brock Lesnar doesn't want to leave Saskatchewan or wherever he's made his bunker.
Brock Lesnar can't go on TV too much because he's magnetically attracted to the
term. There's a great post on Squared Circle, which is a subreddit, about a definitive list of Brock Lesnar's weaknesses, and one of them was the turnbuckle, charging into the turnbuckle like a fucking mad lad, I think was the phrasing on it.
Like a rambling asshole.
Yeah.
Yo.
Lesnar. It was a fun read. And Matt Riddle had a match against Kona Reeves.
Coming out looking like he has no pants on.
Yes, that was not a good look for him. And I don't know, but Kona Reeves is a guy. I think in another era, Kona Reeves would have been a very good jobber in like Jim Crockett Promotions. Because he can kind of work. He's not flashy or exciting, but he knows how to work well enough to make someone else look good. So I think he missed his calling because they don't really do jobbers much anymore. He's got a character, I guess. But this was all about Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle was dominating this match until Velveteen Dream came out on his sofa, being wheeled in by two ladies who looked like
fucking hedonism bot over here.
Yeah.
Just he's got his pimp cup. I was expecting him to pluck grapes from his assistant's hands.
Chalice.
Apparently, one of them is Kona Reeves' IRL girlfriend.
Well, that must have been awkward.
A little bit.
Um, Matt Riddle is distracted by this, but unlike every fucking dumb babyface on the main roster, this does not lead to him getting rolled up and pinned. Kona Reeves attempts to strike him from behind, but Matt Riddle is too smart for his shit and thwarts him momentarily. Then he gets rolled into the ropes. They wrestle a little bit more. Matt Riddle locks him in and starts hammering on the elbows, and then locks in the bro mission for the win. Velveteen Dream announces him the winner, and then Matt Riddle walks up, takes a drink from the pimp cup, throws it on the ground, and tells Dream he will see him in New York, bro.
Yeah. Solid match.
I
was thinking about like where would Kona Reeves fit in? I'm like, what if he was like a nifty take on like a monster heel? Because I saw him in the ring, and like Matt Riddle's tall, and Kona Reeves is a lot taller than him. Kona Reeves he's a big old stick boy.
I would say Kona Reeves is probably 6'4". Matt Riddle's probably 6'2".
Yeah. But I just get like I see these images like, you know, Kona Reeves kind of acting like a gangster thug. You know, I could see him going up and like intimidating people and just really getting up there and using his height to like look down and be like, "Yo, what you doing? I'm the finest." You know, throw my gold chains around. He can do that sort of instead of whatever his promo game is now, which is not much.
I don't know that I really buy Kona Reeves as a imposing force, though. I don't know. I don't know what you do with Kona Reeves at this point. I think he could be a decent like jobber to the stars kind of guy, where he has a character, he has a bit of name value, kind of like what Cassius Ohno is.
Mm-hmm.
He has a character, has a bit of name value, and you can use him to put guys over on their way up the card in NXT. I think that's probably his ceiling.
Yeah.
Because he's good. Like, I mean, if I were running a small independent promotion and I had Kona Reeves under contract, I could use him higher up on the card because he's fine. But in WWE, with how much talent they have, he just kind of, there's nothing that's going to help him rise above a certain level.
Agree.
Then it was main event time. Aleister Black and Ricochet versus the Forgotten Sons. I'm a fair man. I have talked a lot of shit about the Forgotten Sons, but I felt they acquitted themselves quite nicely in this match.
Yeah. Yep. So the common sentiment was that they really pulled it up. They pulled up their britches and were work a good match. Because their butt was in the fire and they're wrestling with good people.
Yeah. So I'll at least in NXT with their very strong tag team division, the Forgotten Sons can be fine. Their jobber squashes are very boring, but they had 2 pretty damn good matches in this tournament against Lorcan and Birch and against Ricochet and Aleister Black, so they can at the very least be carried to a good match. They did not have a very good match against Mustache Mountain, but I've seen a fair number of teams that are pretty good not work well with Mustache Mountain, so I think that's just a styles clash sort of thing more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But this was not all about them. They wrestled well. They acquitted themselves quite well in this match. But this was the Ricochet and Aleister Black story. It was a pretty even match. I'm not going to say they took most of the match because I think it was pretty much 50-50. They scored the win with their Black Mass 630 senton combo, with Aleister Black running in and doing a pretty crazy ring post quebrada onto, I believe, Cutler, whichever Forgotten Son. I forgot. Ho ho.
Blake and Collar. Blake is the one with the larger disproportionate ratio of beard color to hair color.
I keep wanting to say Blake and Murphy because Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy were once upon a time NXT Tag Team Champions.
Oh man.
Managed by Alexa Bliss. It was a strange time to be alive. Where they are now on that is an interesting tale.
Yeah.
This match was fine. It was pretty good. I'll give it a pretty good. It was not the best match of the tournament. I think that was the Black and Ricochet versus DIY match. I think that was probably the strongest match in this tournament. But they won, and then they got the cup and the confetti, and then the War Raiders came out and they stared down to end the show.
Except Ricochet just could not. He wanted to chat. He was like, "Hey, Alistair, we're gonna do it. Just it's the photo op, Ricochet. You gotta just look at him. You gotta stand there and look at him."
Ricochet is great at a lot of things.
Just I got a trophy.
Not one of them, especially knowing when to talk. But looking at this card for TakeOver New York, this is, on paper at least, maybe the strongest TakeOver card ever. Ricochet and Aleister Black versus the War Raiders should be excellent. Walter versus Pete Dunne is a match I am looking forward to a great deal. You have Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano, 2 out of 3 falls. You've got Matt Riddle and the Velveteen Dream for the North American Championship, and then you have the Women's Fatal 4-Way, which should be fine. That's the weakest match on the card, and that's pretty good.
It's pretty strong.
Yeah. I'm very much looking forward to it. We're going to have great seats. We're going to be able to feel the heat from the Walter chops from our seats, and I'm very much looking forward to the show. I'm glad we got tickets when we did, because this show is sold the fuck out, and you have to pay like 3 times as much to get seats, far worse than the ones we have now. So we got in at the right time.
Super glad.
Yeah, especially considering how much we had to fucking pay for WrestleMania tickets. That's neither here nor there, but it's worth it. If we only go to one, at least we went to the one. All right, so yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this week. Next week there'll be next week we'll have regular show at regular time, I think, and then we're gonna fucking figure out how we're gonna do reviews. It's gonna be an interesting experience. So until then, be well and stay safe and party on like it's 1995 and all that jazz.
Like it's 1995, yeah. Peace.